Okay. Right. So coming down to evolution of analytics, my dear students. So initially standard static reports and charts to know what happened. So initially a lot of standard static reports and charts were being taken into consideration to know what happened, right? Then dynamism. So ad hoc was brought in to these reports to know how much, how frequently or where this happened. So basically, whenever there would be a decision making in the organization or whenever the HR department had to take a decision, everything was on ad hoc basis. Okay. So a lot of reports were being collected and how much, what happened exactly, everything was being taken into consideration uh, on ad hoc basis. Whenever the problem occurred, on ad hoc basis, the data was being collected and decision was being made, right? So that was basically, it started with the evolution of analytics. Then OLAP, that is online analytical processing, right? So here tools were used to slice and dice the information. So whatever information was being collected, tools were being used to slice and dice the information in any which way we wanted. So when whatever selective data was required, that was being cut off. Okay, that was being taken into consideration, and other unwanted data was being uh, deleted, and whatever selected data was being used, alerts to inform us when something went wrong. So that corrective action could be taken or necessary escalations made. So basically certain times decision would be wrong here because data was selected on the basis of perception of the people in the organization, right? So there was nothing called as selecting the right data. So they selected the data which they wanted to select, right? So that was online analytical processing. Then data was subjected to, then later on data was subjected to statistical analysis, right? So here entirely calculations came into picture to know the root cause of the problem. So here we could get the exact root cause of the problem, what exactly it is, and then in order to prevent it from occurring again. So basically through the statistical calculations and statistical analysis, they analyzed what is the problem and basically the decision was taken accordingly. The data was subject to statistical analysis. Okay, so that was when the analytics came into picture fully. Then next, forecasting techniques were being used to study the trends in the data. So please understand here, my dear students, initially it started with certain reports, certain charts, which were there in the organization. For example, reports related to performance, report related to production and all those things, or charts related to trends in the production, trends in the profitability. Okay, all those charts and everything was analyzed, and based on that decision was being sorry, taken in the organization. Then ad hoc decision was being taken later on whenever the problem persisted. That time they took the data on ad hoc basis, immediately they took the data and based on that the decision was being taken, right? Then came the online analytical processing. Here they started collecting the data, they started uh, collecting the data using various tools, and they started slicing and dicing the data based on their own perception. So selective perception was there, and then based on that decisions were being made. Then later on statistical analysis were there, the data was subject to statistical analysis, they identified exact root cause of the problem and they tried to resolve the problem by taking proper decision. Okay, then came the forecasting. Now at present problems you are resolving, but what about the next, right? So which would pop up in future. So here forecasting techniques were being used to study the trend in the data, because there was very seasonal variations and repetitive happenings which were there in the organization. Here came the predictive model. Okay, here predictive model. Then it was based on statistical algorithms using probabilities for happening of an event or otherwise were adopted. So here came the predictive. So please understand here descriptive, prescriptive, and predictive. Okay. Then operation research (OR) techniques were being used to optimize and to get the best possible outcomes. So that's what we say here, evolution of analytics. Okay. So here we'll just study in depth what is the evolution of HR analytics. it was divided into two forms, that is conceptual evolution and functional evolution. Now, conceptual evolution, it is based on certain theory. Okay, so here the concept of HR analytics is the recent development in the HR research area, which basically came down from data pertaining to HR, which was integrated in with various statistical tools, matrices, technology to leverage measurable outcomes. So whatever outcomes came out from this analytics was measurable. So in 1950s, Peter Drucker wrote, uh, some wit once said maliciously that personal management comprises all those things that do not deal with work of people and that are not management. Okay, this reflects the truth that once HR struggled to be accepted as a part of the management. Okay, so HR was not taken into consideration when it came as the part of management, right? So a lot of struggles were there, right? And later on in 1991, for the first time, clearly articulated, Barney was clearly articulated on the resources an organization has and their links to competitive advantage. So Barney brought in certain uh, facts and figures through which he gave a definition to the public that the resources, whatever are the human resources, whatever are there in the organization, are directly linked to the competitive advantage of the organization. So HR is the heart of the organization. He just put forth there. So in 1959, based on resource-based view theory propagated by E.T. Penrose, Barney's work highlighted the aspects of linkage between human resource management and business strategy. So here, this particular person linked the human resource management functions and the business strategy. He said that both go hand in hand. Okay. So as per RBV, that is resource-based view theory, any organization has tangible and intangible resources. Then Barney further elaborated that resources, those can be source of competitive advantage. He also highlighted the preconditions for successful implementation, which later became to be known as video, valuable, rare, inimitable, and organized framework. So later on, according to Cantrell, Benton, Laudel, and Thomas, okay, language, behaviors, action displayed by the human capital workplace, like behavioral theories were came into picture. As all of these arguments make one point, that human resource plays significant role in achieving business results. Okay, so challenge lies in demonstrating the link between HR strategy and performance using the data. So how you are going to link the human resource, the strategy of the organization, and the performance using the right data in your hand? How will you identify the right, uh, how will you make the right decision using the data in your hand to link the best from the best in HR, human resource strategy, and performance? Though HR trust with data seems to be very old, right? Yet relating the same to organizational strategy and performance has been exclusively attempted since the concept of HR analytics came into forefront. Now here HR analytics, in short, if you could say, it is nothing but collecting the data. Again, it comes to the same point, collecting the data, deriving some information from the data, using it into the decision making for the growth of the organization, or for achieving the strategy and objectives of the organization. So here, HR measurement in real sense and form started with challenge of finding right persons in the organization. Since World War II, acute shortage of skilled manpower was the biggest challenge to the organization. Then US Army started using skill tests to find the people with the right attributes, and this was adopted at large scale by American Telephone and Telegraph Company, AT&T, okay, and other American multinationals, right? So if you could remember, my dear students, the US Army started with the skill test, okay, the personality development test, whatever we have seen in our MOB, right? Then in mid 1990s, a lot of measurements were more integrated. So strategic dimensions of HR functions. So they started linking the strategic dimensions with the HR functions, and forward-looking companies started adopting predictive models and assessment models. So in the meantime, Pitsenza published an article titled Measurement Imperative, where he proposed a radical idea. So in that particular article, he said that it was proposed that human resource activities and their impact on bottom line could be measured. Okay, the same triggered debate and interest by other scholars, leading to research on measuring the HR, human resource, measuring the human resource functions. Okay, and that led to HR analytics. Okay, so that's what we could say. Subsequently, in 1990s, the concept called as benchmarking became very popular by incorporating comparison of data in the measurement of HR functions. Gradually, it reached the peak in the early 2000. So since 2000, a lot of HR analytics has come into picture, and then a lot of advancement was being made, right? Comprehensive use of metrics was found in 2002 by Oakland, the legendary baseball team of USA. Then Billy Beane, the general manager of the team, extensively used the metrics to select the team members, which was then indeed a dynamic initiative in comparison to others. So in just team selection also, this particular analytics was being used by Billy Beane. Okay, now coming on to functional evolution. Functional evolution is nothing but from data, it came down to information, then decision making, right? So if you speak about functional evolution of HR analytics, it started with descriptive analytics. As I say, it started with descriptive analytics. Descriptive means describing what has happened. Descriptive analysis is nothing but describing what has happened. Then it went on to diagnostic analytics. Okay, once you have described what has happened, you try to diagnose why it happened. Okay, that's what we say diagnostic analytics, right? So this is nothing but seeing behind the scenes what actually happened, that is hindsight. Okay, now let us go to insight of it. Now, when you speak about insight, it speaks about predictive analytics. What may happen? Okay, what may happen? We have already known what has happened. We also understood why it has happened. Now, let us speak about what may happen in future. That is predictive analytics. For that, you need to get deep insights into the descriptive and diagnostic analytics. And then comes the foresight. Okay, so that is what we could say prescriptive analytics. How to prevent bad things from happening and to potentialize the good ones. What may happen, you have predicted, then you go for prescriptive analytics. That is, what measures can you take so that the outcome is turned into positive rather than negative. So this is called as optimization of the information what you have. Now this particular information, collecting the information is very easy, but optimizing that information is very, very difficult. So we have to have talented pool of resources, human resources, to optimize the data what you have collected through descriptive and diagnostic, and see to it that you get the right insights, and see to it that you get the better results in the organization. Okay, so here analytics value chain. Let us move on to analytics value chain. I hope this is very clear. Descriptive, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. Any doubts here? Any doubts, students? Yashaswini, any doubts here?
No, ma'am.
Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Coming now to next, analytics value chain here. So here it is a journey to optimizing value from the data. Please understand, my dear students, here optimizing some value from the data. Okay, so here analytics value chain is the key to timely outcome in the Internet of the Things. So whatever operation research, whatever statistical tools, whatever computer applications you are using, okay, you are going to use that and try to derive some information which is very much useful to take timely decisions in the organization. That's what we say analytics value chain. Okay, now coming down to the descriptive part of it, analytics must be executed in real time across analytics, right? So across analytics value chain. So what is this value chain? It is nothing but streaming, taking into consideration the streaming, historical, predictive and prescriptive analytics. So analytics value chain considers streaming, historical, predictive and prescriptive. Streaming is nothing but descriptive, historical is nothing but diagnostic, right? Predictive and prescriptive. Okay. Then with relevant contextual and situational data based on the contextual or situational data. So this capability paired with next best action creates the greatest value for the analytics in the organization. Okay. So here we it consists of certain points. So first point is collect. Okay. So here you try to connect and integrate data sources from inside and outside the organization. Merge history with real-time updates to provide actionable insights understood within the context of your business. So here it is nothing but collecting the data. From where you are collecting the data from various sources which are inside the organization as well as outside the organization. Then you merge that particular data with the history, with real time, whatever has happened, whatever updates were there, whatever previous experiences, past experiences are there, to provide actionable insights, right? And understood with the context of your business, right? Then you start, after you collect the data, you start preparing. Now what you are going to do in prepare, you align all the data involved in decision making against common metrics and hierarchies in the beginning of effective organizational decision making. So you try to align, select the data, align the data in proper way so that it becomes very easy for you to take a decision, okay, based on certain common metrics and the hierarchies in the beginning of effective organizational decision making. Then you try to visualize. Okay, so visualization tools integrate into existing workflows and applications can improve efficiency and engage team in the process improvement. Okay, so here what happens is when we speak about visualization, the visualization, it speaks about the visuals, okay, visuals of the future, whatever is there. So visualization tool basically integrates the existing workforce, whatever is there, whatever the existing people are there, whatever existing production process is there, right? Everything is taken into consideration and the applications, what can be improved, what can be improved. So you try to visualize in future, if I try to improve this particular process, if I try to implement this, what would be the outcome, what would be the improvement in the process, and how well the teams in the organization can be engaged, that can be visualized. Then you go for describing. Once you have visualized, you try to describe. So here you report and analyze results within the context of the business to tell story of what's happening. So you describe exactly what has happened, what is happening at present. Then you share evolving business trends with the colleagues to align on actionable insights. After describing everything, you will just say that this is what we can implement, right? Then you go for diagnosing. Diagnosing is nothing but understanding the root cause. That can mean a huge difference to develop data driven decisions as they are empowered through strong data platforms. So here you try to diagnose the root cause of the problems, why the company is coming under loss, why the people are not satisfied in the organization, why there is high absenteeism, why there is high retention ratio is very low. All these are the problems. Now what is the root cause of certain problems that is being identified in this particular stage of diagnose? Okay, then you go for the next one, that is predict. Okay, So forecasting can be best described as leveraging existing data to establish models that can help business users to accurately plan for potential outcomes and move ahead with the right decision making in the organization. So you try to predict, if I implement this, what would be the outcome. Okay, you try to forecast the future results in the organization, and you try to leverage the existing data, try to establish a particular model and help the business users to predict the future. Okay, then coming down to next, that is prescribe. Okay, so here data-driven decision making is in its ability to leverage data. So machine learning, artificial intelligence, okay, it provides the competitive advantage. So organizations employ advanced models and methodologies to define and optimize appropriate course of action and ensure best possible outcomes. Okay, so here if you could see students, analytics value chain, right? So if I compare it to a particular doctor, when you go to a doctor and when you say this is my problem, he'll try to collect the data. He will try to identify what is your medical history. Okay, he'll try to collect the real time data about your medical history, your medical reports, and then he will try to ask you various questions, diagnose you, and identify various data. Okay, through which he can identify what would be your disease, and then he tries to prepare. Okay, he compares whatever you are saying with the history of medical, whatever you are having. Okay, and then try to identify what exactly would be the reason of your problem. Okay, then he will try to visualize. Okay, he'll try to visualize, integrate the existing problems whatever are there of various patients, and he will try to compare the data. He will try to and identify what would be the next future problems what you will face, right? And then he will try to describe. Okay, then he will say that yes, this is what the problem you are having. He will try to report and analyze the results, right? And then he will tell you the exact problem, like a story. Yes, this is the problem what you are facing. Since first you had this particular problem, and then the next problem started, and then now you are facing this particular problem. Okay, and then when you say yes, this is what is really happening to me. Okay, then he will be confirmed that whatever he has diagnosed or whatever he has described is really right, whatever he has visualized is really right, and then he will try to diagnose the problem. What is the root cause of that particular problem? For every disease, there will be some root cause. So he will try to diagnose the root cause of that particular problem. After identifying the root cause of that particular problem, he will try to predict, if I give a medicine for this particular root cause, what would be the effect and how much time it will take for the patient to cover the entire disease. He'll try to predict and he will try to take right decision. Okay, then he will try to give you certain prescriptions, that is prescribe. He will tell you that this is what you are supposed to follow, this is what medicines you are supposed to take, and this is how you are going to take the medicines, right? And that is what we say prescribe. So this is nothing but analytics value chain. Just a simple example of a doctor, I just connected it with the analytical value chain here, right? I hope it's clearly understood here. Now it is being put forth in a diagram here, analytics value chain. So economics and financial values are the rewards gained from the series of linked activities. So here series of linked activities are taken into consideration, right? So here if you could see the strategy and the execution. Okay, strategy, that is business plan. Fine. So here innovation, producing, selling services, all will be the certain business plans, strategic business plans. So these business plans will be linked to customized or customer analyzed needs. Now these business plans are basically depending on the customer analyzed needs, price, quality, services, right? So these will meet the customer analyzed needs. Then afterwards, operations, that is planning, targets, process time, production quality, output volume, everything is planned according to the strategic business plan, and customer analyzed needs. And then you go for talent management, that is planning the workforce, hiring and deploying the employees, compensating the employees, developing, engaging the employees, right? So that is what we could say is strategy. Okay, so strategy starts with business plan based on the customer and need analyze, and based on strategy and customer analyze need, we try to plan the operations, and based on the operations you try to plan the talent management. Okay, and then once you have planned the entire strategy of how you're going to manage the talent in your organization to achieve the customer needs and the strategy of the business. Okay, based on that you have various HR services which will be provided, that is workforce and succession planning, hiring cost, time to fill, quality, pay and benefits costs, learning and development, training and development, engagement programs, retention programs, all these are various HR services which are there, which do come into execution. Now this is the planning part and this is the execution part. Now when you speak about execution here, HR services execution, so here how you will execute the human resource plans to bring in talent management. One is identifying the right workforce, succession planning, okay, bringing down the hiring cost, bringing down the time to fill, bringing more quality pay and benefits cost, bringing in more of learning and development activities, training and development activities, keeping your employees engaged, engagement programs, and retention support, trying to retain best employees in your organization. These are various HR services. Now when these HR services are executed properly, automatically your operational outputs will be very high. So unit cost, okay, cycle time, unit cost will be low, cycle time will be low, quality will be high, output will be high. Okay, then proper input, optimized input, then error rates will be less, shrinkage and rework, everything will be less. You will be having proper operational outputs. Okay, in case if HR services are not done properly, then 100% it affects the operational outputs. There may be errors, there may be shrinkage, there may be rework, unit cost may be high, cycle time of producing a particular product may be very high. Okay, then once the operational outputs are positive, automatically the customer responses also will be positive. Okay, so here the numbers responded, conversation rate with the customers, spend satisfaction level of the customers, return rate, okay, everything will be satisfactory. Then financial outcomes also will be satisfactory. Financial outcome is nothing but revenue generation, expenses, balance sheet, assets, liabilities, everything will be optimized. Okay, so that's what we say analytics value chain. So here descriptive and this is prescriptive. Descriptive is you are going to describe, okay, then afterwards predictive and prescriptive comes into picture here. Predictive is the mid, prescriptive is the output or the results. Okay, so here strategic chain management starts with top executives building the strategic business plan by asking their basic questions. How do we make money? Okay, this is the question which is being asked here. For not for profit, that is non-profit organization, the question asked is how do we give better services to our constituents? Okay, then companies that are successful over time prosper by assessing market before investing resources. So here companies which are very much successful, they try to assess the market properly before investing on the resources. So that includes customers, competitors, technology, policies of the government, economy, labor market, macro forces that collectively reveal problems as well as opportunities. Okay, then coming on to next, management also looks inward at the enterprise capabilities. So they include enterprise vision, leadership, brand, culture, financial strength, employee capabilities. All this is being assessed in operations and the talent management, right? So from this dual assessment, plans are made to produce, sell and service and give the services the company is offering to the customers. Okay, so I hope analytics value chain is very clear to you all. Okay, So here analytics value chain, basically it starts with collecting the data, okay, then organizing the data, preparing, aligning the data, visualizing the data, describing the data, diagnosing the data, predicting and prescriptive data. Okay, so analytics value chain here being given in a very simple diagram. It starts with strategic business plan, then customer needs is being analyzed, operations are being identified, okay, what targets which are to be met, what is the process time, what is the quality of the product which we need to meet, what would be the output volume, okay, based on that talent management is being described, okay, what is the workforce planning at present, what is the hiring deploying status, how much compensation you are paying, how much your employees are engaged in the organization, okay, what is the skill set of the employees in your organization, everything is being identified and described. So this is what is descriptive. Now once we study about descriptive, then you, based on this descriptive data, you try to predict what can be done, and this is what we say prescriptive. Okay, so here based on the predictions what you have done, you try to bring in HR services, try to bring in succession planning, workforce planning, bring in hiring cost, lesser the hiring cost, time to fill, and go for lot of L&D activities, learning and development activities, then output, customer response, and financial outcomes. So that is what we say analytical value chain. Now moving down to analytics model. Okay, a simple model is being given here, right? So here value levels, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive. Now here descriptive is nothing but it falls into level 1 and level 2, that is organize and display. My dear students, we are seeing here analytics model. Before we have seen analytics value chain. Okay, so here it is value levels. Fine. So level 1 and level 2, it is organize and display. Now what is speak about organize is nothing but collecting the data, validating the data, bringing in the accuracy in the data based on certain statistical calculations. Okay, so features of it, static data. Data is very much static on transactions waiting to be applied. Then benefits of it is solve the basic problem of analytics, that is data availability. Then comes next level 2, that is display, that is show the data by category looking for apparent connection. So here you try to display the data. Okay, you are not predicting the data, but you are just describing the data based on certain dashboards. Okay, so through dashboards you are going to show certain reports which are possibly based on cost, time, efficiency, amount being spent, benefits being provided. Okay, so this proves as a base for predictive and prescriptive analysis. Now level 3 and level 4 are predictive analysis. The predictive analysis is nothing but relate. Now already you have collected the data, organized the data, displayed the data properly. Now based on that display, based on the visuals what you have displayed in the dashboard, you are going to relate the data with each other. Okay, look at the impact of external and internal forces which are affecting the organization. Then you try to identify certain points, okay, to opportunities for simple performance improvement. How can you improve the performance in future? How can you interrelate human structure and relational data? Okay, how can you get the benefits from human structure and relational data? That you're going to relate here, and based on that relations you're going to build a particular model. That is nothing but predictive experiment. You're going to have a design, you design a model for predictive experiment to connect people, policies, processes, and performance in the organization. So here a lot of testing of hypothesis is being done to understand complex interactions and interdependencies. And finally, you have prescriptive, that is level 5, that is evaluate. So you're going to apply a lot of statistical tools here, research methodology tools, okay, operation research tools to validate the predictive model and to utilize the data what you have. So benefits of this particular prescriptive is shows top line and bottom line changes that increase all shareholders value. Okay, it shows what would be the effect of the data which you have collected, the predictions what you have done, what would be the effect of it. and what would be the increase in all stakeholders value. That is what we could speak about the analytical model. Okay, so descriptive analytics in detail it is being given, prescriptive and predictive. Till here is it understood, my dear students? Any doubt here? Deepika Majulati, any doubt? Deepika?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Kedar, have you understood? Kedar Sawant?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Any
ma'am.
doubts? Any doubts here? Am I too fast?
No, ma'am.
Noel?
Yes,
Noel,
ma'am.
am I too fast?
No, madam.
Okay, great. Now coming down to the descriptive analytics here. So descriptive analytics is the basic type of analytics which considers historical data. So here it is just a description of some historical data, some raw data, and you summarize it into something that is applied and understandable. For example, there is a descriptive analytics. There is an example given here. Headcount report of all employees within the organization is a form of descriptive analytics. Okay, headcount report of all employees in the organization is a descriptive analytics. Even taking it a step further and breaking it down to demographics would still be the same category. Okay, so metrics like turnover rate or time to fill would be descriptive as well. So they rely on past data and aim to explain why something already happened. Now here, when we speak about descriptive or describing something, it is entirely depending on the past data. So anything you collect the data, anything you do based on the past data, it is called as descriptive analytics. Okay. Now, when you are calculating the turnover rate, is it high or low? It entirely depends on the past data. That means how many people left the organization in last 2 years, 1 year. You are going to collect the data which is already there in the past. Okay. How again you want to calculate the time to fill? That means nothing but when the department has given the requirement of manpower and how much time the HR department has taken to fill that particular position. Now that again, if you want to calculate that, you have to rely on the past data. Okay. So anything which relies on the past data is called as descriptive analytics. So here only focusing on descriptive analytics is very reactive, as HR as a core function of the organization is evolving to align with business needs, has to focus on proactive. Okay, some you are just describing something and saying that this is a problem, fine, but that will not be very much um, expected from the HR department. So you need to have something proactive. Okay, then comes here predictive. Once you have described everything, you try to predict what would happen in the future. So where descriptive analytics looks backward, predictive analytics looks ahead. Please understand here, descriptive analytics looks backward, looks up from the past data. Predictive analytics looks forward. Okay, so it uses the statistical models and forecast. Forecast the use of the forecast are being used to answer the questions of what would happen in the future. So models are being built on patterns that were found within the descriptive analytics. So in descriptive analytics, you're going to take the past data, describe the entire situation based on the present situation of whatever you have described in descriptive analytics. You're going to predict the future. That is what we say predictive analytics. So goal here is proactively identify the needs of the organization. Okay, so example for predictive analytics here, uh, it is nothing but talent acquisition teams determine. There is an example here, predictive analytics can help talent acquisition teams to determine if someone will be good cultural fit for the organization before they are hired. It could even provide estimations on how long a person will stay in the organization. So basically, MBTI tests, Big Five tests are being identified, are being taken by the candidates, right? So company will be giving the test, personality test to the candidates. What you're going to do there, you're going to predict whether that particular person will be staying in your organization for a longer time or know whether that particular person will be beneficial to the organization or no. That is what we say predictive analytics. Okay. Then you have prescriptive analytics. Okay, prescriptive analytics is nothing but it provides recommendations. Descriptive analytics describes the situation taking past data into consideration. Predictive analytics takes the present situation, present description, present data, and analyzes the future happenings in the organization, predicts the future happenings in the organization. Prescriptive analytics provides recommendation on moving ahead based on the predictions what you have done through predictive analytics as well as the descriptive analytics. So it takes both combination descriptive and predictive, and then it brings in certain recommendations that this is what is to be done so that in future we have better outcomes. So prescriptive analytics could even help determine how to properly onboard a new hire based on skills and strengths. So this analytical approach can be highly beneficial for the organization with peak or busy seasons. So example, a retailer will want to know how many people to staff during the holidays. That means during holidays how many employees I need to keep, right? Or a park might need to know how many to staff during the summer months. Okay, so that's what we say prescriptive analytics. Okay, so that's is the end of certain part of the module 3 here, descriptive, predictive and prescriptive, right? So later on in the next class, we'll look into the strategic analysis. Till here, any doubts, students? Sandra, are you there? Sandra?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it understood till here?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Right. Thank you very much, students. We'll look into the strategic analysis in the next class. Right. Any doubts, any queries are there, you can WhatsApp me. And I hope I'm very clear for your IA. You will be having first module and second module. By today evening or tomorrow, I'll be sharing y'all the word format of the notes of module 1 and module 2.
Okay,
Yeah. Thank you very much,
ma'am.
students.
Thank you.
Yeah.